I went to each default Bedrock server to find which one had the best version of Bedwars. Disclaimer, this is my own opinion based off of what I've played and your thoughts can be different, but let's enjoy the video. Starting with server number 1, the Hive. Arguably one of the most popular server, it has the game Treasure Wars. Treasure Wars has dozens of well-made, detailed, and unique maps for each game mode. Each map has a slightly different playstyle, but with bases being near each other, the first thing you need to do is rush the other team and destroy their base. Out of the dozens of games I've played, 8 out of 10 times, the other team tried to rush me. The resources in Treasure Wars are iron, diamond, and emerald, in that order of value. With only 3 resources, it's easy to keep track of how much each shop item costs. As for shop items, there are only 2 custom items you can buy with emeralds. The fall boots, which negate all fall damage, and the quartz fruit, which when eaten would immediately teleport you back to your base, but there's a limit of 2 per team, so you have to buy them wisely. With an extremely aggressive player base, the amazing maps with simple amount of resources, I rate Treasure Wars a solid 7.5 out of 10. More basic, but it's not extremely creative on the Bedwars concept. Server number 2, we have LifeBoat, with the game Bedwars. The least creative name out of all the servers. You would think it's just a basic clone. Well, sort of. While it only has 5 maps for solos, each map is easy to navigate, but not all maps come with an ender chest to put your stuff in, so the maps can greatly change in how you play. With only gold, brick, and iron as the 2 resources, you don't have to focus on leaving your base on some of the maps, as the generators are already on your base. But when building protection for the bed, it has an extra block of air on top of it, so you probably need to get a little bit more resources to protect it. The players on LifeBoat are more 50-50 when it comes to playstyle. Some like to rush immediately, while others just camp at their base for a long time, especially with maps that have a gold generator on them. You can use gold to upgrade your armor to get diamond, get chance and potion effects to help you win. While not being creative enough to come up with a different name, only having 5 maps at the time of recording and 2 different resources, I rank Bedwars a solid 5.5 out of 10 because it's the minimum for every server, and if LifeBoat decided to get rid of anything, it would be terrible. Into the next server, Cubecraft with Egg Wars. Egg Wars is the most complex version of Bedwars with the most variety of items and power-ups. Egg Wars maps are very well made and very large. So whenever you leave your base, you're extremely vulnerable to attacks. So remember how I said Egg Wars is the most complex? Well, that's because it has iron, gold, diamond, and emerald generators. With all these resources, Cubecraft's taken full advantage and added dozens of items to change the way of how you play. On top of that, there's even kits you can use. With all these choices, you're bound to find a playstyle for you, but the general player base still just keen on rushing your base first. Just to name some of the special items they have the TNT, Elytra, Elite Feathers, Space, Blast Ball, a chest and ender chest, because they thought it was too easy for you to just keep your stuff, and a whole other tab called Redstone, which I'm not going to get into. With all these items and some decent maps, I rank Egg Wars a 6.5 out of 10 or a 7, because although it gives you all these items and resources to use, the general player base just doesn't use most of it, or it's because the game just ends too fast to become that stacked, and the creativity behind the game isn't really there. Before we get on to the final server, if you could like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated, as I put in a lot of hard work to make this video. The final server is Galaxite with Core Wars. Core Wars has the longest wait time out of any of the servers, up to like 2 minutes. So you would think that it was a terrible game, but I couldn't be further from the truth. There are more than a dozen different unique and very well detailed maps, but that's the minimum, right? Well, you're right, but instead of having generators, Core Wars have drills. While having the same function, the fact is that they came up with a unique design for these generators, which already starts pushing it up on the leaderboard. Core Wars has the most clever and cool way to collect resources. There is iron, diamond, emerald, and core pieces. That's right, they added a whole new resource from destroying other cores, and you can use this to upgrade yourself and your base. There are a dozen different upgrades to use to buy the core pieces, but only 5 of them will show up in a shop per game. Next is Emerald, where a golem at mid-island replaces the generators, and you must kill this golem to take all the emeralds, which makes it more difficult to gather the resource. The next cool thing is Death. Well, not so cool, but each time you die, your core health also go down, so you have a limited amount of lives. But this also means your opponent has a limited amount of lives. Some of the upgrades you can get for each of the resources is armor points. Each tier of resource gives you a different tier of armor points. The same thing with absorption hearts. It gives you extra hearts, so then it's easier to fight in the game. Now, for special items, there is a Sonic Snowball. It's like an impulse grenade from Fortnite and a thermite TNT. Now, I haven't used it, but it does sound cool. This is a moment everyone in this video have been waiting for. After deep analysis, many sleepless nights, I give Cold Wars an 8.5 out of 10. The creativity behind the Bedwars genre is amazing, and it truly adds to the game. If you want to see me play Cold Wars for the first time, make sure to click this video right here.